Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to try to fix a ding in the headstock of my Fernandes Love Driver guitar. So if you look here, hopefully the camera will focus on it, there is a rather sizable ding in the corner of the headstock. Let me try turning this light off because I think it's probably not helping. So looks like it got it pretty good. It was like that before I got it. Came from Japan. I think it was made around 1996 maybe. So it's actually in really good shape. But the ding, I'm not really that worried about it, and it's not that visible. Like, you don't really notice it when you're playing it, or no one would notice it looking at it. But I just want to make sure that the wood's protected. So the idea of this stuff, a natural color, and I did a little experimenting with it, and it came out pretty close to the color that this already is. So got some toothpicks, and I'm just going to try to apply a little bit of them at a time in there and kind of just fill that ding out a little bit, or at least cover up the raw wood part. So we'll see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of this DAP wood filler right here. And then start getting to work. Now, I've never used this stuff before, so just going to apply it gingerly. Dry. Some things I meant to mention previously. When I put the tape on, I tried to go as flush as I could with the edge of the headstock so that it could kind of act as a guide for reforming that corner. So I could basically fill up the tape with filler to try to mold that in the correct area. So I kind of followed the line all the way up. Also, I didn't tape all the way up to the hole. I left a little bit of the shiny area showing, so that would give me an idea of how much I needed to build up the filler to make it level and apparently it settles some, so I tried to make it nice and full of filler. I didn't show that I actually took my thumb and pushed down on the whole thing to make sure that it was tightly packed in there. That's one of the things that they tell you to do when you use the disc, to mash it in with a tool. So I just kind of used my thumb, and it still has enough of a lip or enough of a raised area to be able to sand it a little bit if I need to, but I just wanted to make sure that it was all firmly in place. And I packed enough of that stuff in there so it could deal with a little push.
Not oppose me.
So it's been an hour and a half since I put the stuff on. The tube actually says, I don't know if you can read it, but it says that it dries after 15 minutes. So I looked online and that said 2 to 6 hours. So I'm like, well, I'll err on the side of caution. So now I'm going to go ahead and start taking this tape off. Just regular old painter's tape. Safe to stick on anything. Gently peel it off. And it looks like it filled it out pretty good. A little bit of a crusty edge there, scratch that off. But yeah, definitely looks good to me. Okay, so done some sanding. It's nice and flat and rounded. Pretty much managed to fully reform that corner. I'm going to try to shine a light on it. Hopefully it makes it better, not worse. So you can see where that dent is underneath, but that I'm not worried about. Just trying to fill up that corner, which I think worked out just fine. So now the only issue is the difference in color. This one's a little bit lighter where the filler is. So the first thing I'm going to try is a relatively low-tech solution. Literally. This is coffee. It's strong coffee, but basically concentrated coffee from the pot. So I'm going to try to do what they call coffee staining, where I'm going to try to darken it with some nice funky coffee. Dab that on there and let it dry. So I haven't gotten quite the result I was looking for with the coffee staining. It's definitely darker than it was before, but it's still a little tiny bit off. So what I'm going to try to do now is take a Q-tip with a little bit of amber shellac and just put a little bit on there to try to color that in. Let that dry. Try putting another coat on there. Alright, now I'm going to do another coat of the shellac. I think that's probably going to be it. Okay, so now that I have some better light, you can get a better look at the repair. So it's pretty well filled in there. And then gonna put a touch of probably clear nail polish on that patch there, and hopefully it'll yellow a little bit and blend in a little bit more with the finish. Okay, so back again with the guitar, and I went ahead and got my wife to apply the nail polish to the patch on the headstock, which you can see right here. So obviously doesn't blend in perfectly, but as the nail polish darkens over time, I'm sure it'll look even better. But I shined it up, and a friend of mine was saying that you could easily mistake it from wood grain from a distance, but I don't think anybody's going to really notice either way. But the important part is done. The hole is covered up. And it is completely headstock shaped again. So I think it worked out pretty well. Anyway, I hope this video is useful if you're thinking about the plastic wood fix, and thanks for watching.